I have here Chris Damali, Global Director at ISACA with me, and I'll be talking with him about different roles in ISACA, different ISACA certifications and trends that we're seeing in cybersecurity. My name's Dennis with Cyberkraft. And Chris, so thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Although it is just virtual, Dennis, I hope that the weather is better where you're at than here in Chicago, where we've got still a foot of snow on the ground.
Quite a bit of snow. We had a little bit, but I can't say anything to a foot. Well,
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, thank you so much. First question I had for you is, could you explain from your perspective what the value of ISACA certifications is?
yeah, absolutely. Well, here at ISACA, we've been around since 1969 as one of the largest membership organizations in IT, with over 170,000 members across the globe and over 220 chapters. And what that means is that we're constantly taking information from the community and then creating certification products that are then available for the community to take. What that means is that somebody who has an ISACA certification can then demonstrate to the community, to their clients, to their employer, and to prospectives of both of those types that they have the skills that are required. And there's 5 major areas in which ISACA has that expertise. Number 1 is IT audit. Number 2 is security, certainly including cybersecurity. Third is IT risk. Fourth is IT governance. And fifth is privacy. And so in those 5 areas, we're gathering that information from the community, making sure that our certifications are up to date, that are current, that they're relevant to the business community. That's what we offer to folks who are out there who are considering upping their skills, upping their capability to add to their daily routine.
Wonderful. Fantastic. And when pursuing a professional certification through ISACA, what's the value of going through an accredited training organization like Cyberkraft?
Sure. Well, the accredited training organizations go through a rigorous process that we've created here at ISACA in order to ensure that they are meeting the high standards that we put out there. And indeed, many organizations who take a lot of ISACA training, including the government, the big consultancies, the military, the big banks, they often require their folks to use accredited trainers in order to recognize the end certification product, right? And so what we've also observed is that the biggest cost to any individual who's going through this training is their time, right? So that if you are purchasing the materials on your by yourself, and certainly we have great materials, but next thing you know, life gets busy, right? 2 months have gone by, you haven't picked up the book in quite some time. Now you're trying to get back into it. You need to take the test in order to demonstrate your capability. You take the test, you fail, and now you're back to square one, right? So what we've found is that the reason we partner with accredited training organizations like Cyberkraft is so that that delivery methodology is then made much easier for those folks that are going through this process, that you can be efficient, that you can save time and money through the process by getting a high quality education in these topics and then passing the exam on the first time. That's what we hope for everybody watching this video here today.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. It's very important to not waste time and money on ineffective training solutions. And Cyberkraft, we do offer a first-time pass guarantee with all of our ISACA certifications if you go through one of our programs. In your opinion, what are the current trends that we're seeing in regards to hiring and certifications in the cybersecurity industry?
Yeah, great question, Dennis. So there's a lot that's out there, but let me focus on 2. One of which is the continuously increasing demand for labor in this space. Right? So we've all heard this story, right? There is a huge need for cybersecurity professionals. And we have been very pleased here at ISACA to help people come out of jobs, sometimes jobs that are being eliminated because of the rise of AI, or jobs that are being eliminated because of technology, or career transitions, like if someone is leaving their military career and transferring over to civilian life, and now they're looking for the right place for them, right? We've been able to really help that labor force fill a portion of that gap where the demand for cybersecurity professionals is so strong right now. And we're seeing that expressed not just in the people being hired into those positions, but also in what the pay rate is for those positions, which is quite impressive. And as you look out there, it's not hard to search up the information to find what are the highest paying certifications in IT. Many of them are ISACA certifications, and many of them pertain to cybersecurity because the demand is so high in that space. So that continuously growing demand is trend number one. Trend number two that I'd like to call out is really deals with AI. And I don't mean AI in the kind of buzzword water cooler conversation where a couple people might be saying, oh, do you think robots are going to take over the world? Yeah, maybe, maybe not, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about using AI, blockchain, things that were only buzzwords a few years ago, and now actually putting it into the keyboard, into your daily job. Those things are possible, and we have training, hands-on training with labs around topics like cloud computing, blockchain, AI, and plenty more related fields that are extremely current and are helping people to get jobs right now. Taking that type of training is absolutely essential to really successful future careers. So AI and actually applying AI and other things that used to be buzzwords and are now being used in our daily lives every day.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. These are real technologies that we see increasingly in the cybersecurity field. AI assistance, AI assisted tools and technologies is fantastic. And it's important to understand how to appropriately use those technologies. And ISACA does offer one of the most robust training solutions that I've seen in the industry.
Thank you.
So let's talk about some specific certifications. I want to talk about the ISACA CISM. What are the advantages of obtaining ISACA CISM certification?
Sure. Well, the CISM certification is right now the fastest growing certification at ISACA, right? We're certainly seeing significant demand for CISM around the world as cybersecurity becomes, to say, the tail wagging the dog of security, right? CISM is a certification that is sought once someone has the hands on the keyboard skills, right? When they can actually operate in that manner. Now they're ready to start thinking about systems, how those systems work together, how to design systems that are going to be really effective, right? So for those folks that have your basic cybersecurity skills that are ready to now move on to higher level professional capabilities, CISM is a perfect fit for that. And the places where this is being highly demanded is really where we see the military, the government, anywhere that's working on highly sensitive scenarios. The CISM is a great fit and supported by various different types of regulation around the world, but certainly right here in the US in order to emphasize the importance of that to be able to work on these highly sensitive projects. So CISM as a managerial role within cybersecurity is growing massively along with the overall demand for cybersecurity labor.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so CISM would be more of a senior level certification. I mean, who exactly should pursue a CISM?
Yeah, that's a great question. So senior for sure, but I wouldn't regulate it to just senior. I would say you need 5 years of experience or equivalent. So that really means 3 years of experience with 2 years of equivalent. So that means I would call that a mid-level career, right? Certainly we have lots of people that are coming out of college that are pursuing it. We have college programs that include CISM within that. And that being said, they don't get their CISM, they don't get the full certification until they've completed the other requirements. But it is a higher level certification than what you see as kind of some of these other great products from other organizations that we have a ton of respect for, like CompTIA, like ISC2, like EC Council. If you're pursuing those, CISM is certainly a complementary component within a total package of certifications and certificates that an individual might be interested in obtaining in order to have a great cybersecurity career. So within that, I would say CISM is a mid-level career component and certainly extends out to the higher level as well. But also for those that are line operators that aspire to get into the managerial level, CISM is a great way to get those skills, demonstrate within the organization that you are someone who can be a leader within your group, and be able to achieve what the CISM entails.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it certainly demonstrates an understanding of risk management and risk management processes, which is highly desirable in a leadership role. What salary range can you expect with a ISACA CISM certification?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dennis. I guess it really depends on where in the world that you are. And I would say that the CISM is consistently ranked as one of the top highest paying certifications within IT and one of the top highest paying certifications within cybersecurity. So I would refer to those publications because there's a number of different ways to derive those estimates. But certainly you're looking at a salary that extent the average CISM is well into the six-figure range.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of underlying factors there, whether you work remotely, in person, what city, your cost of living. So it is tough to say, but absolutely. And if you reach out to Cyberkraft, we can help you determine that salary range or what you can expect in your area too. We always try and do that for our candidates, and we offer career placement assistance as well for those who need it, who sign up with us. Appreciate that.
That knowledge is really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the main goals of the certification is to advance your career, and that's what we try and do here. Let's switch gears, talk about the CISA certification, the traditional auditing certification. It's seen as really the gold standard within auditing certifications in the industry. I understand that there's going to be an update to the CISA in 2024. Can you share any insights on what that's going to entail or what those changes may be?
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Well, the CISA is indeed, as you've said, the gold standard in IT audit, and certainly is the most popular certification here at ISACA, right? About half of our 170,000 members across the globe have the CISA, and have the CISA alone. With regard to the updates in 2024, so these will be coming around mid-year, where we're planning to launch the new materials around May. What we always see is that there are some people that want to hurry up and get the certification because they trained on the previous material. And then there's people who are wanting to wait until the material gets updated to take their training. Whichever one of those camps that you fall into, the value of the CISA is really undeniable. It's also in that same space along with the CISM, one of the top highest paying certifications in IT and cybersecurity consistently year in and year out. When you think about the last update that happened with the CISA, that was in 2019. And so what has really happened since then? Well, COVID has caused a lot of us to now be in a work from home environment and opened up new third-party vendor risk management risks that we really haven't seen in the past, right? So there's a lot of updating material. There's updating material around data management that has been a big component. But there's plenty of other things that are in there. As I mentioned earlier, we get this information directly from the community, right? And we rely on the community to tell us what's most relevant, what's changed, and what's important. And that's exactly what we've done here with the CISA in order to continue to ensure that it is the most relevant and most significant certification in IT audit.
Fantastic. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why it's so successful and why it's seen as that gold standard, of course. As somebody who's trying to manage their cybersecurity career, and I always try and advocate to my students to determine what your passions are, what you like within the field, and determine what certifications you want to pursue based on those interests. And that's usually the way I advocate it. Who exactly should pursue a ISACA CISA certification?
Yeah. Well, those folks who have a passion for audit, passion for IT audit, The CISA helps you to get employed very quickly, right? When you think about those types of organizations, the consultancies, especially the Big Four and the consultancies that go along with that, and the defense contractors, they employ a lot of CISAs. That being said, if you think about any organization of significant size that has an internal audit department, they're going to have an internal IT audit department unless they've completely outsourced it. And even when they have outsourced it, they still need someone to oversee the outsourcing, right? So audit is a fact of life. It's an important part of how these businesses operate. So really the CISA is very employable. If you enjoy those elements of audit, you enjoy being able to ensure that systems are clicking together, that they're working properly, that they're being tested, and that the results of those tests are actionable items that an organization can then make improvements on. That's the essence of IT audit. And in the day and age that we're in right now, it couldn't be more important, right? Because there are so many threats. Zero-day threats are growing. We're seeing more of them all the time. ISACA produces what we call the state of cybersecurity, right? And it is a report that we release annually based on respondents from our membership base. And they tell us that they're continuing to see a growing number of threats, a growing number of breaches, and those breaches are continuing to get more and more costly as we move along. So the demand for CISA continues to be extremely strong.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with the rise of AI, we also see the rise of use of AI by malicious actors. So it makes it easier for them to perform attacks, and we have automated attacks happening at a rapid scale, of course. And CISA improving those processes, having correct audit procedures in place can help really fill up those gaps that you may encounter within your organization. So that's fantastic. What types of organizations traditionally benefit? You mentioned auditing organizations. My understanding is it's great if someone wants to work in the financial field or has financial experience and wants to transition to cybersecurity. CISA is a really good certification to pursue. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I would say if you use this general rule of thumb, the more regulated the industry, the more demand that there is for IT audit. And so I'll take a moment to just repeat: audit, security, risk, governance, privacy. Those are 5 highly related topics that are extremely tied in with IT audit and with the mission of ISACA, right? So if you think about, for example, if you're designing systems or if you're auditing systems, privacy is a key consideration that you need to take into account. That 10 years ago, that was not being built into systems as kind of a baseline requirement, right? Now it is. And so you're developing holistic systems using frameworks in a way that has never been done before, and rising to new challenges that we're experiencing.
And that's represented well in the CDPSE, or as some people like to say, is the CDPSP, right?
That's right. We call it CDPSE around ISACA, but the reality is that all of our acronyms get pronounced differently depending on where in the world you are and where you're from. So CDPSE or CDPSE, our newest certification that was launched in 2021, has demonstrated a lot of success globally, addressing the issues of privacy that face all of us on a daily basis.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how we produce a lot of candidates from military backgrounds. I myself am a military veteran, and we really try our best here at Cyberkraft to support the veteran community and help traditional military veterans transition into civilian roles, transition into cybersecurity roles. How can ISACA help a military veteran with their certifications transition into cybersecurity?
Yeah, fantastic, Dennis. That's something that we take a lot of pride in as an organization here at ISACA. As a US-based but global nonprofit, we have a lot of ties into our mission. And a big part of that mission is being able to make the world safer, right? As the US government and the military and our servicemen and women, whether they're still in the military and they're fulfilling their roles there, which it has a major appetite for ISACA content, or whether they're leaving the armed forces and they're going into their civilian life. ISACA credentials can help them to very quickly get placed into new roles, right? We certainly see that there's no lack of appetite at the defense contractors to bring on folks out of the armed forces and put them to work. And many of these types of roles are looking for people that have the courage, the strength, the stamina to be able to perform in a cybersecurity environment. And the reality is that it is challenging and it's rewarding. And we are always looking for our veterans who are making those moves to make their lives easier, to get transitioned into the careers that they want for the rest of their lives.
Fantastic. As a veteran, I truly appreciate that support. And if you sign up with Cyberkraft, we offer, of course, veteran-specific support, veteran discounts. Over 90% of our instructors are military veterans from all service branches. So, except for Space Force, we don't have Space Force yet, but but yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that commitment.
Absolutely. Well, Dennis, we certainly are very gratified to be working with a veteran such as yourself and your team in order to not just help all these folks get that transition done, but also to be able to speak their language, right? That's where we see that veterans that go through this type of experience are able to really make that transition more quickly, more easily when they have people that can relate to the life experience that they've had. So kudos to you, Dennis, and it gives all of us here at ISACA a lot of pride to be working with yourself, Dennis, and your team like yourself.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And Chris, I really appreciate your time today. It was fantastic meeting with you, and I appreciate you explaining, giving your insight on all these certifications, these topics we've talked about. Is there anything else you'd like to leave off with before we finish up our interview here?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dennis. The last comment that I'll make, very much appreciate your partnership. And what's very important for people that are out there who are seeking this type of training, it is very likely for you to be able to save time and money by seeking out accredited partners. Dennis's team has gone through a rigorous process that ISACA has installed in order to get you the best results. And the worst result that you can have is having to retake that test, right? It is cheaper and easier to just get the book and do it on your own time if you've got the time, but who's got the time? By using a disciplined process that an organization like Cyberkraft can do for you, you're really able to achieve the best results and get on with the rest of your life using your new capabilities and certifications from ISACA.
Fantastic. Absolutely agree. Thank you again, Chris. It's wonderful having you here today. And thanks everyone for who's watching this video. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.